Hello everyone, I'm back in Journal 2, this will be Chapter 12, Part 5. Prophecies of the End Days. As Emmanuel walked from the temple, the disciples wanted to show him the building in which the temple was built. But he spoke to them, "Do you not see all this? Verily I say to you, not one stone here will remain upon the other without being broken." The Jews trespassed against life and the truth. They built the city on the blood of people. They plundered this land through rapaciousness and murder, and killed their friends, with whom they drank wine. Thus they betrayed their own friends and murdered them, because of their greediness. Likewise it shall be done unto them. Later he sat on the Mount of Olives. His disciples came to him and requested, "Tell us, when will this happen? And what will be the sign?" But Emmanuel answered and said, "See to it that no one leads you astray. For many will come in my name and say, I am Emmanuel, and they will lead great numbers of ones astray." People will hear about wars and war cries. They shall see and not be startled. This is what must happen, but this is not yet the end. Because people will rise against one another, and one kingdom against another. And there will be times of great need and earthquakes, and floods all about the lands. This is the beginning of great calamities, and great cataclysms. Soon the people with knowledge will be surrendered to grief, and many will be killed. They will be hated for the sake of truth in their teachings, and for their wisdom. Many kinds of cults will rise up against one another, and much blood will flow, and many hearts and spirits will be broken. Many will succumb as a result of these conflicts, and will betray one another, and will hate one another because they remain small in spirit. Because there will be lack of faith, love will become cold, and deadened in many, many people. Hatred will rule over all the world, and evil will reign for a long period of time. But he who persists in the truth will survive. This lesson will be preached throughout the entire world as a testimony for all peoples, and the end will come. And then the end will come. When the word of truth has gone forth throughout the total of the lands, when the peoples will see the horror of destruction in Jerusalem, and the lands thereabout, of which the prophets have already spoken, then the end will come. When this happens, whoever is at that time in the land of Judea should flee to the mountains. He who is on the rooftop should not come down from it to get anything from out of his house. He who is in the field should not come back in order to get his coat or any other possessions. Oh, woe to the women in this place, who are pregnant, and those who are suckling their babes at that time. For they shall suffer much grief and death. There will be multitudes. There will follow great grief, as has never been since the beginning of the world until now, and also will never be again. And if these days were not shortened, no man would remain alive, but the days will be shortened for the sake of the Spirit and wisdom, and for the sake of the people who serve the truth and the laws. There shall be untold gnashing and chattering of teeth, and great mourning and screaming, when this time comes, because of man's lack of understanding and because of his greed. I mean, they pretty well have done it to us already. They give us a little bit at a time, but in all reality they're way far advanced than they're putting out. They leave us in darkness. They only give us little tidbits here and there on the news, and don't show you we can get the rest of the actual information, because you can barely get it here. It's censored, even in their freedom of speech country. Now here's a good one for you. There shall be machines made from metal for use in the air, on the waters, and on land, to kill one another in great masses. They shall throw heavy projectiles out of these machines made of metal, and they shall strike the cities throughout the lands. Fire will come out of these projectiles and burn the world so that hardly anything will survive, and that which does survive will not long be spared. AKA nukes, aka ships, planes, submarines, all of us here, is it not? We got it, haven't we? It's come to pass. How much longer do you think it'll be? They'll put the cornerstones of life itself into the projectiles in order to kindle the deadly fires, the atomic bomb. And if at that time the celestial sons would not appear in order to bring it to the standstill, verily I tell you, not one person would survive upon the face of the earth. And they've done said, if it gets above 150,000 meters in our system here, they will stop the nuke. Anything below that pre-game. And if it gets too bad, they'll evacuate. They can do the entire world at once if they so choose. They will put the corner. Okay, next one. Since the human race will, at that time, number at least 10 times 500 million. At least 10 times 500 million people. That's 5 billion people. And at the time of this, it was about exactly 5 billion people when this was found. 2 parts thereof will be destroyed and killed. Just like it talks about the trees in, I believe it was Revelation. About, part of it being destroyed. Exactly what's going to happen. But that's people. 2 parts there will be destroyed and killed. When at that point, someone will say to the people, "Behold, here is Emmanuel." They shall not believe it, because many false Emmanuels and false prophets will rise up, and do great signs and wonders. So if it were possible, also even the wise and knowing would be misled. Behold, I told you so before. But what saves them? I didn't put this in one of the parts in this. It's their knowledge. What do you call them? Chosen, elect, saint. If you look the number up on the New Testament, it's the same number for chosen, elect, and saint. And you can take that chosen and go to the Old Testament and find the Hebrew number for it. But you can find the Greek number for the New Testament. But just keep that in mind. Next time you go through a study, if you want to go through your own Bible, they have apps so you can look up the numbers for it. The Hebrew numbers or Greek numbers. But my point is this. This is what keeps the elect and what makes them different, or the chosen. We're going to call them saints, but they're wise and knowledgeable. That's what saves them, is having wisdom and knowledge. That way they're not deceived. That's the only way you're not going to be deceived in this end generation, is having truth. With all the lies and the darkness going on, deceptions. As I will most certainly return at that point in time, I will let them recognize me. This is how the law is written, and thus shall it be. For, as lightning starts with the rise and radiance until its setting, thus will be my coming among the heavenly hosts, aka, you think starships, spaceships, whatever you want to call it. But how do you think he's going to come back, really? Thus will be my coming among the heavenly host, with whom I shall have my renewed life at that time. Men of all times, be aware, wherever the carcass is, there the vultures will gather. So be aware of them. Soon after the grief of that time, sun and moon will no longer radiate, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will become shaky. The structure of the heavens will be disturbed because the senselessly erupted power of men will be living in greed, power, and addiction. Okay, there's going to be some cloudy in the atmosphere, based probably because of nukes, but you can interpret it how you want. There will then appear a sign in the sky, and then all the generations on earth will cry, and will see the celestial sons coming in the clouds of the sky, ships, and they are of great power, and will judge harshly against senselessness, since God is the ruler over the 3 human races. He therefore will judge them through his representatives. Man owes God his creation, and God is the ruler over him, so that he has to follow his commandments and respect him as the greatest king of wisdom. He will send forth his guardian angel with loud trumpets, and will gather his followers from the 4 winds, from one end of the earth unto the other. Blessed ones, learn a parable from the fig tree. When its branch begins to have leaves and they are coming out, you know that summer is near. Likewise, the people at that time, when they see all of this, they will know that it is close at hand. Verily, verily, I say to you, this is how it will be. And this human race will not pass until all of this has come about. Heaven and earth will pass, and the universe also. My words will not pass, for they are words of truth within the laws of the creation. No one knows of the day nor hour that all this will happen, nor the guardian angels of God, nor I, Emmanuel, but God alone, who has the greatest wisdom, knows. He is the ruler over these human races, and to him is due honor and praise. He too owes honor and praise unto the creation which is above all. So be it. If man reveres and honors God and recognizes only the creation as the supreme power, he thereby acts rightly in truth. Let us draw this to a close for this reason. I treasure you for your service. It is wondrous to sit with the Master Sananda, or Emmanuel, and know that he has grown into his perfection, and allow these things to be put to paper in mine own words, so that the record is set straight. I am humbly in my gratitude. I take my leave. I am Judas Iscarioth. I am that I am. I am Sananda Emmanuel, that might still be placed on this truth of these writings. So be it, and Salah. Blessings and peace be unto you ones in this time of great stress, for I am never far from thee. Adonai. That'll be end of chapter 12.